Hello, good morning. I'm kind of go sideways. Good morning from the lovely state of Iowa on yet another beautiful Friday morning. And one thought I'd like to pass on is that this week I've been particularly inspired by various women of whom were really just embracing their bodies and understanding their bodies in new ways and loving themselves for who they are. So shout out to those lovely women and all the other individuals watching. So today what I thought I would talk about is another thing about the vagina, which is like vaginal support. And in watching the Super Bowl commercials and the resurgence of the Planters peanut, I thought I totally see the vagina in the Planters peanut. And that's probably not what most people would say, but that's what I saw. So here we go. And I was going to actually try to order a Planters peanut and bring it up, but I couldn't find it. So I did what every other innovative individual does. I went to the cabinet where I find my, good morning, where I find my beautiful children's crafts from when they were young, even though they are now teens almost going to college. And I colored it myself and I brought it with me. Okay, here it is. My Planters peanut that I colored. Okay, so here's kind of what I was telling a little, and I really even gave it feet. It's so fun. So when you look at the Planters peanut, what are you seeing? When you think about the vagina, this is the length of the vagina, and this is the uterus. It's actually sitting on the pelvic floor, which is this, okay? So the pelvic floor is this little bowl of muscle that separates the intestines, the uterus, the bladder, etc., from the vagina, okay? So when we have uterine descensus, which people are like, oh my gosh, is my uterus falling out of my vagina? It's because this part and the cervix are coming through the vagina. But you can see that's very different than cracks in the peanut. Okay, so inside the peanut are the little nuts, if you will, and on the outside is the actual shell. So what happens when we have like a cystocele or a rectocele, which is what people say, is my bladder coming out my vagina? Or sometimes when I have bowel movements, I have to like hold my perineum or push in, and then the stool will come out. Those are actually cracks in the nut, in the front part and the back part, because while our pelvic floor is this way, and this is what, I'm standing looking at you, so my pelvic floor is like this, my uterus is sitting here, my vagina is here, but actually my bladder is more in the front and in the back, actually, right? So if I have a crack in the nut in the front, then my bladder can push through. If I have a crack in my nut in the back, then the rectum can push through. So you can see when you do Kegel exercises are when you're strengthening this little pelvic floor. But Kegel exercises do not do anything to make the nut better, okay? So the nut a lot of times only gets better when you go in surgically and you pull the nut back together. Now the vaginal rejuvenation procedures are actually just making the actual thickness of the nut a little thicker. So sometimes that actually helps a little bit, because if you have more support of the thickness, then the overlying structures don't have as much opportunity to come down. Hence, some people, when they take like estrogen products or do vaginal rejuvenation procedures, may have less stress urinary incontinence just for the additional support, but actually the nut's still correct. So I just think that's a really cool visual. Your little Planters nut. Ooh, can you see it okay? Yeah, he's got a smile too. How fun is that? But so you can see the Kegel exercises help keep this up, but the cracked nut is where the bladder and the rectal issues come from. So hopefully that explains a little bit extra stuff about the vagina and explains visuals so that it doesn't seem so difficult to understand. So I hope you have a great day and enjoy this other visual of the Planters nut. I don't know if you'll ever eat a peanut the same again, and we'll talk later. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. Okay, bye.